Hi everyone, welcome to Gen Chem 2. Since we weren't able to meet together for our first class period, I decided to just take that content, which is just orienting you to myself, to the syllabus, to our Blackboard space. Just was going to make a short video here to make sure you know where everything is to help you through this class. Now, if you've had me before for general chemistry, everything's sort of set up the same with this class, so it should be pretty straightforward. But if you're new to taking a class with me, I kind of wanted to show you where everything is here. So again, on our Blackboard page, here's a lot of the main things that you're going to orient yourself to. The main landing page is going to be our Learning Units tab. So to highlight, there are 7 learning units in this course. And so it's sort of broken up. Some of the learning units are longer than others. You can see this first one's only 4 lectures. The next one is actually quite lengthy, about 8 lectures. We have some exams that are sort of sprinkled in here. So you can sort of follow along here and sort of see where things are. There's study guides for the exam. There's actually 2 years worth of exams that are available, both as like practice versions and then as keys. So you can use that as study guides. So this is, again, your main landing page. I'll go into these folders in just a second, but I want to orient you to a couple of other places. This course calendar is an important place to sort of go to. I'm always highlighting that this is tentative, things might change and so forth, but I created this before we had class canceled here, so I'll always have the revised date. So if you happen to print off a copy, you can always look and see online if there's a revision date, and if that's the case, there might be something different from the printed copy that you have. But what you'll see is the units that we're covering, again, the dates that those are, and the topic that we're covering during that. So you can see Monday was just meant to be a syllabus and an introduction to the course. So we're going to delve right in on Wednesday with kind of our first content. So one of the things that's sort of highlighted here is there are links here to YouTube videos. And I'll show you that there's a couple places you can find these links. So some people might find these videos helpful to watch beforehand, before class, and you may have a little bit of deja vu then, because that's essentially the same content that I'm going to present at the beginning of class. It's generally the background material and so forth. It's going to help prime us to then do the most important thing in class, and what you'll want to spend time practicing outside of class, which is how to do problems. So again, clicking on these, you'll notice it's going to open up a YouTube page. You'll sort of see the topic, and then these range in length, generally from, on the short side, maybe about 10 minutes to on the longer side, maybe about 20 minutes to introduce you to the content that we're going to be covering that day in class. You'll also notice days when there's either quizzes or exams. And I don't have homework necessarily listed here, but I'll always let you know what homework problems I'm going to recommend that you utilize to sort of continue to practice. So again, you can see when quizzes and exams are sort of listed throughout the course here. So that's an important thing with course calendar. Again, syllabus, you can access the syllabus here. This is not likely to have any changes. I still may make some revisions here to my student hours, which are a time that I definitely will be in my office. But again, this is subject to change. I will always let you know if it is going to change. Right now, I have it set at what it was last year. I'm not certain if that's going to stick around. But you can think of this syllabus as being sort of a contract between you and myself, highlighting sort of the description and the philosophy of the course, what course expectations are, some suggestions for how to learn chemistry productively. At the end of the day, I really test you on, can you solve problems? And that's why there's lots of opportunities to practice tons and tons of problems. And I'm going to show you where some of those are on our Blackboard page. Importantly, you can see here's what our assessments are, how I determine what your grade is. There are 3 in-class activities throughout the semester. Those are going to be not announced, so you want to make sure that you're coming to class all the time. That's going to be an opportunity where whatever problems we work on in class that day, there'll be a worksheet to go along with it, and you turn that in to get those activity points. There's 5 quizzes throughout the semester, 20 points each for 100 points total. There's 3 100-point semester exams throughout the course, and then a 150-point cumulative final exam. So you can see sort of some descriptions here, sort of for what those different pieces are, and then sort of the points that you need to earn in order to have a grade, a specific grade in the class. There's some sort of more standard policies, whether it's professional behavior, attendance, office hours, and then university policies on academic honesty, ADA, Title IX. Obviously, I should probably delete this. We don't have anything to do with masks, but there's no mask mandate right now. And I do utilize a seating chart. So after the first sort of week of class, after you find yourself in a seat that you like, we'll just have a seating chart for that. So that's the syllabus. Again, not too much on there. Really didn't want to spend too much time talking about either of these things. The bulk of the time I wanted to make sure is that you understood where to find materials to help you in the class here. There's a lot that's on this Blackboard page, and it's intended to really let you determine how much or how little help you may need to be successful in this class. And of course, this does not eliminate coming to see me. I will highlight one of the strategies that many students have found successful in the past is when they come in for office hours. They'll work outside my office there on problems, and then when they get stuck, then they come in to see me. That's a great way to utilize my office hours. I will say one of the things that is not a successful use of my office hours, if you just come in and sort of say, I don't understand everything or anything, I need you to teach this to me again. Please come into office hours with specific problems that you've worked through or don't understand how you got to a certain point. That's really the only way that I'm going to be able to best help you. So let's go through and dive into this learning unit section. Again, this is the landing page that you'll always have for Blackboard when you come in. Again, highlighting there's 7 units in the course. Here's the different things that you will find sort of within these individual folders. You'll find these skills videos. Again, every lecture has an associated skills video. You can watch it before class, and then you'll hear me do a redo of it in class, or sometimes students find it helpful to rewatch after class. After you've heard me say it once, then you watch it again and it kind of refreshes your memory. Or you don't have to watch them at all. Again, it's meant to be an additional resource if you find yourself confused about some content. Now remember, it's generally just the background sort of knowledge. It's really not the problem-solving piece, which is really what I'm going to test you on. There's homework problems that are sort of assigned that are recommended for you to go through. I should say they're assigned, but it's not anything that's collected or graded. The expectation is that you can use those as a way to determine how well you understand content. And then not every unit, there's 7 units but only 5 quizzes, so not every unit has a quiz associated with it. So as you'll see when we go through, you'll see whether or not there's quizzes associated with a specific unit. Just to highlight too the differences between quizzes and exams, the quizzes tend to be a single page front and back. The front are more of the short answer type questions. Maybe they're not quantitative, maybe they're a little bit simpler to answer, and then the back side is usually more of the in-depth computational problems. So quizzes, 25 minutes front and back. Exams are going to be 50 minutes, and they're double that. So they're 2 fronts and 2 backs. So again, it's about 2 pages worth of that no partial credit sort of short answer, and then 2 pages of the more involved computational problems. So let's just kind of go into this first learning unit. All these folders are set up the same, so once you sort of see the structure and the organization, hopefully it'll make sense. Okay. These are videos from a while ago. You can see they're from 2019, but they basically give you a very brief overview. So if you just want like a little 2, 3, 4 minute overview of what quantum theory and atomic structure are about, or electron configuration and chemical periodicity, you can watch that short video and get sort of an overview of what I'm going to be discussing in that learning unit and in that skill. Again, there's homework here. You can see that there's a blank version of it as well as a key. I highly recommend trying to do the problems before you look at the key. Okay, but I'll always let you know after class sort of what homework problems would be helpful to reinforce the content that we did that day in class. Okay, here you can see there's practice quiz materials, as well as this is the quiz from last year, and you can sort of see there's some statistical information, so you can sort of see how students have done in past on these sort of materials. But as you go through, you'll see that these quizzes, these exams, they generally have the same sort of format. So use those as a great tool to practice what you're likely to see. Now, I'm not going to remake quizzes or exams by simply just changing the numbers of the same problem, but I will take and make a same type of problem. So for example, if it's a quantum number assignment problem, you'll see a different kind of quantum number assignment problem. But to highlight here, anytime you see this little icon, this indicates for everything underneath it, this represents everything that's related to skill 1.1. Okay, and if we come up here, I shouldn't have closed this tab. Let's come back here. So skill 1.1 is what we're covering sort of this first class period. It's on light and the atomic spectra. So what you can see here is, if you want, you can click on this and you will have my handwritten notes for content that we have here, as well as a list of problems that you could work on. Okay, so a whole like laundry list of problems that you can work on to reinforce that. If you are a digital note taker or even a paper note taker that you want to have copies of the slides that I use, you can click this link and that will get you to a copy of the PowerPoint slides that I use. Now, I will say I do provide during class any of these early slides, which are largely just sort of description, a lot of writing. I don't spend a lot of time on these in class, so there's no way you'll have time to write down these notes, but I provide them for you as a handout at the beginning of class. Okay? So for the most part, those 6 slides are actually going to be provided for you that first day of class. But that's what you're going to see here. And again, here is that link to that same video that I just clicked before, skill 7.1. So again, about 20-minute video here. That's what we're going to do in class, is I'm going to spend about 20 minutes going through those 6 slides, and that will get us set up to work through problems. Okay, and so the remainder of class will be working through those problems. Okay, now if you wanted to practice some additional problems, okay, that's what these problems are here, these practice problems. There's a practice problem on interconverting wavelength and frequency, calculating energy from wavelength, determining energy of electronic transitions. So there's 2 things that you can click on within these, and I want to make sure you see where all of this is so you know where to find information if you want some additional resources. Now, if you click on this PDF file, it's going to give you the worked out solution. Okay, so you'll be able to see sort of the worked out solution here. Now, if you want, you see how this says sample problem 7.1 here? If I come back here to what we had here, do you see how this says sample problem 7.1? That's that problem. This problem has an asterisk with it. Any problem with an asterisk has a worked out video solution. So again, coming back here, those 3 problems that had asterisks next to them are these 3 problems here. So you can click on the PDF and you can just see a written out solution. If looking at the written out solution still is a little bit confusing for you, click on this link and you will get to a YouTube video of me working through this. Now, I will highlight, let's see how long ago. This was posted 8 years ago. This was before I had my digital iPad. And so you might need to sort of make this full screen, because literally I was taking my iPhone and filming myself writing. So if we kind of fast forward through here, you'll actually see that this is me just physically writing and then recording with the camera, me writing through solutions. But importantly, I'm narrating as I'm walking through the solution. So if it's a kind of problem you're struggling with, you might find it helpful to listen to me walk through the problems. And in general, when people have problems with understanding content, I usually will ask them, have you gone through these practice problems first? Try going through those practice problems, look at the written solution, listen to the video, and if you're still confused after that, come in and we'll see where you've gotten yourself stuck. And again, I don't want to discourage people from coming in to see me, but importantly, I want to make sure that you realize that there's resources that are out here. So depending on what your scheduled time frame is, you don't have to worry about my availability not necessarily matching with yours. So remember, there was 4 lectures for this first learning unit, so we can see these 4 sections. So we're going to talk about light and the atomic spectra on our first day, quantum numbers on our second day, electron configuration and orbital diagrams on our third day, and then periodic trends on our fourth day. And again, you'll notice underneath each one of them, you'll see all of the practice problems. Highlighting again, if you want to know what those practice problems correspond to, you can click on the notes and homework, and you'll see any of these problems that have an asterisk next to it are going to be ones where there's a worked out solution for you. So tons and tons of resources that are available for you, but if you don't know how the Blackboard page is set up, it can be overwhelming and seem like a lot. So I wanted to make sure, kind of take a moment and run through everything that you see in this Learning Units tab. So quizzes are going to be found underneath these unit folders. If we're looking at practice exams, you're going to see those kind of between where the units are that they occur. So for example, exam 1 is units 1 and 2. Exam 2 is units 3 and 4. Exam 3 is units 5 and 6. And unit 7 actually is not going to be on a semester exam, but it will be a significant part of our final exam. Okay. There's also sort of some help with naming. That again is a skill from Gen Chem 1, but if you need some help with naming, clicking on this folder is going to go through a whole bunch of resources to help with that. Okay, so we did syllabus, we did the course calendar. Big thing is our Learning Units folder. I want to show you where some other resources are. And you'll notice some of the things you might see on my Blackboard page, but you're not going to see them on yours because it's hidden for grading. But here, molecular weight calculator, right? I expect you to know how to calculate molecular weight. So use this as a resource to quickly calculate molecular weights if you're working through a problem. Okay. Some specific tables, again, as resources for you. There's a periodic table that's there. Different tables that we're going to work through. Whether it's a molecular shapes table, molecular orbital diagrams, voltaic cells, appendices, all of these are resources that are available for you to quickly find to help as you're working through problems. So that's under the chemistry resources. We don't have a textbook for this course, but if you're interested in looking at sort of a textbook, we have an open source textbook here that you can, has the same content that we cover in class, but if you're looking for some additional resources, that's a freely available textbook that we have there. And for the most part, I think that's the only sort of content that I was going to take some time on that first day of class and sort of go through. So I'm providing that for you sort of in this flipped sort of format, if you will. I really encourage you, and I hope that you've stuck through here to the end to sort of see how the Blackboard space is set up so that you are aware of all the resources to help you be successful in this course.